Welcome to The Explainer. Right now, across Europe, something big is happening in the industrial world. We're going to break down how businesses are flipping the script, turning industrial waste from a major cost into a really valuable asset. So let's kick things off with a question that might just change how you see things. What if that stuff you're paying to get rid of could actually become one of your greatest resources? That's the big idea we're digging into today. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the big picture shift, get into the rules you absolutely have to know, lay out a practical playbook for your company, look at the payoff, and then peek into what's coming next. First up, let's really get our heads around this huge change in thinking. We're leaving behind a really wasteful way of doing things for something a whole lot smarter. For forever, industry has run on this linear model. You take resources, you make something, and then you throw it away. It's a one-way street, and honestly, we're hitting a dead end. The future is all about the circular economy, a loop that keeps valuable stuff in play for as long as humanly possible. So what exactly is this circular economy? Well, it's a system that's designed from the ground up to be regenerative. The goal here isn't just to get better at handling trash. It's to design trash out of the picture entirely, right from the very beginning. And look, this is not just some abstract, feel-good idea. This is happening now because of some really powerful forces pushing from all sides. Obviously, there's the ecological pressure to cut emissions, but economically, it's a massive opportunity to save on raw materials and dodge some seriously hefty disposal taxes. Then there's the regulatory hammer. The penalties for getting this wrong are brutal. And finally, your reputation is on the line. Clients, investors, and the best employees all want to see you're taking this seriously. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty, the legal bedrock of all this. These are the core principles that every single business leader in Europe needs to know, inside and out. The first rule is a big one, and it is absolutely non-negotiable: producer responsibility. It means if your company creates waste, you own it for its entire life. That responsibility doesn't just vanish when a truck picks it up. You are on the hook from its cradle to its grave, period. And flowing right from that, you have the Polluter-Pays Principle. It's as simple as it sounds. If you pollute, you pay to clean it up. This is what gives all the regulations their teeth, because it turns environmental impact into a cold, hard number on your company's balance sheet. Now, this is super important. The waste hierarchy isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a legally binding decision-making tool. You have to start at the top. The best thing you can do is prevent waste from ever being created, then reuse, then recycle. You can only move down a step if you can prove the step above wasn't possible. Landfill, disposal at the very bottom, that is the absolute last resort. So that's the theory. How do we actually put this into practice? Let's build a concrete playbook for your company. A successful program really comes down to these 5 key moves. It all kicks off with a really deep audit. You just can't manage what you don't measure. From there, you set clear, specific goals. Then you focus on prevention. After that, you organize your collection systems on site. And maybe most importantly, you have to train and engage your whole team so everyone is on board. And listen, sorting your waste properly at the source, it's not optional anymore. By 2025, companies have to be separating these 9 distinct streams of waste. And the details here are everything. For instance, see that wood category? Untreated pallets are a great resource, but chemically treated wood, that's hazardous waste and has to be handled completely differently. We're also seeing a massive tech upgrade and how we prove we're doing the right thing. Those slow, easy-to-lose paper trails are on their way out. Now, in places like France, there's a mandatory digital platform called Track Déchets. It gives you real-time tracking for the most critical stuff, like hazardous waste. And this is so much more than just going paperless. Track Déchets gives you a secure, tamper-proof record of your waste from the second it leaves your facility. It also automatically builds your legal waste register for you, which is a huge time saver. And it provides legal peace of mind because you have an undeniable digital trail proving you did everything by the book. Okay, so you've done the hard work. You've audited, you've sorted, you're tracking everything. So, what's the reward? This is where we get to the good part, valorization. That's the process of actually turning that waste back into something valuable. The impact here is just mind-blowing. Look at this. Recycling aluminum uses 95% less energy than making it from scratch. For steel, it's 75%.
We're not talking about small efficiency gains here. This is a total game changer for energy consumption.
So in a well-run system, this is what it should look like. The vast majority, we're talking 90%, gets recycled or recovered. The goal is to shrink that slice going to a landfill down to almost nothing. Because remember, that's the most wasteful and by far the most expensive option. And here it is. This is the ultimate prize. When you do all this sorting right, you create what are called secondary raw materials, or MPS. This is huge because it means we're less dependent on unpredictable global supply chains for new materials, and we're building a stronger, more resilient economy right here at home. All right, to wrap things up, let's just peek over the horizon. The circular economy is not standing still. Technology is pushing things forward at an incredible pace. I mean, we are seeing some seriously cool innovations coming down the pipeline. Think AI-powered robots that can sort waste faster and more accurately than any human. New chemical recycling techniques that can break down complex plastics into brand new materials. And soon, we'll have digital product passports that tell us exactly what a product is made of and how to recycle it at the end of its life. You know, this quote really sums up the whole story perfectly. All these regulations and pressures, they might feel like constraints. But if you handle them the right way, they become an incredible engine for innovation, pushing us to be more efficient and build smarter companies. So it all comes down to this. Every single thing your company throws away ends up somewhere. The only question you have to answer is that going to be a hole in the ground, or is it the beginning of your next great product? Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.